was behind the players? It wasn't just Starless this time. There's someone else. There's someone else behind, and we will see very, very soon, because we're going to be entering the draft for game number 1. Look at that. The bans already. 2 target bans towards the jungle, and Aura trying to do the same over towards Bigetron Alpha, going for the Ikai and targeting that Wanwan.
This opens up the question, what exactly heroes that Bigetron Alpha have in mind to open up, because they have used 2 allocated spots for Ling as well as Kadita that are quote-unquote non-prio but respect bans, of course, towards Aura Fire. And now, in return, there are still so many heroes on the board. The Valentina is still open, so is the Faramis, as many others here, Arashi.
Absolutely, and Verandini is the coach that Mirka was trying to highlight right here. This is the first time we'll be seeing him behind the players right now, so we'll have to see, can he match up against Coach Tezet to try and outsmart him in the banning department. Right now, with the respect bans, as Ethan mentioned, Aura Fire as well, they have 1 more ban as we take a look at a comment from Aura Fire's Tezet.
It's a Filipino coach, and Tezet has a few words. He's excited to see Verandini. He wonders, actually, what strategy that what PH strategy maybe that Coach Verandini will come up with here against Aura Fire. And Bigetron Alpha, they secure the first pick, Valentina, leaving the Eve and the Beatrix open for Aura Fire to take. Now BTR with the response, they can go for something like a Claude to go up against that Beatrix in lane, something that can dive into that back line as well when you're up against something like a Eve who is, you know, a sitting duck when she ults.
Exactly. And for Bigetron Alpha, I think they have to try and find a way to dive in towards the backline. We have seen this Beatrix Eve combo. If they get a lot of crowd control, if they get solid frontliners, it's going to be very, very annoying for Bigetron to try and go up against Aura in those massive team fights. But Bigetron, they adjust very quickly. Along with the Valentina now, the Claude and the Karina can dive in towards that backline, and Aura will have to find a solution, some protection for their backline.
Man, full dive at the moment for the side of Bigetron Alpha right now. Aura Fire needs that protection, like Arashi mentioned, and I think CC goes a long way here to prevent that, because if Bigetron is able to dive into the back line, eliminate Kabuki on the Beatrix, as well as hinder or even counter the real-world manipulation coming in from Eve, it's going to be hard, because that's their main sources of damage.
And I think that's what BTR are going to target down here, narrow down. They're going to go for the bans, perhaps towards the peel, the cover roamers. Perhaps a Ruby could be banned here. Matilda as well, that we've seen a lot of times here in the first 2 weeks of MPL ID so far. Aura Fire, they went with a solid frontliner. And Esmeralda, another signature pick that we have seen from the side of BTR as well. So Rizzo. The thing is though, I think Aura wants to nullify the picks from BTR. I think they're going to go for the direct ban there. They went for it, and they're most probably going to go for the Uranus ban, targeting the 2 heroes that Sorizo has played in MPL. He's only played 2 heroes.
The Uranus as well as the Esmeralda. So that's definitely something that they can put into, you know, discussion here for the side of Bigetron. It's definitely a play. And Aura Fire knows that they have very strong side lanes, and so they want to play around Kabuki as well as Fluffy as well. And like we mentioned before, Aura Fire though, they actually will counter this with an Atlas ban. So denying that away from Bigetron, denying that playmaking potential from Bigetron, and Bigetron responds with the Balman ban.
Bigetron banning out Natalia and Balman, so I think the last thing they want to go up against is that tanky 3-man combination we saw rising in popularity from the side of Aura. So now Aura themselves have banned out the Dairoth to ensure a smooth laning phase for Fluffy, and they have also banned out the Atlas. So any big engage combo attempt from Bigetron will be less executable for their side. For Aura though, getting that Paquito I think will be so dominant depending on which lane he goes into. Right now it does seem like it will be in the jungle.
Talking about the jungle, I feel like one of the highlighted players from the side of Aura Fire is definitely Hai, and we can take a look a little bit into his history. He was 9th place in MPL Season 1, 8th place in MPL Season 6, followed in the next year 1st place winner of Piala President 2021, and now he has become the 3rd place winner MPL ID Season 9. So last season, very good achievements. You can feel the development coming in from Hai as well, and you can even see it in terms of his gameplay, because we usually know Hai to be that tank, a very utility-based jungler, but he came up with heroes like the Amon and several other weird heroes that we don't necessarily see, as well as at Nathan.
From zero to hero. That's the story of Hai in Aura Fire. The whole team's story so far. But it's time for Aura to wrap up their draft with BTR wrapping theirs up with a Grok and a Uranus. Aura will go for an Edith.
Wow.
In the roam position, I believe, here for Godiva, and Paquito will go to the jungle. Interesting. I mean, Awawa in the Indonesian desk, he's probably so happy that his hero is finally coming up, and it's always Aura who picks it up. The Amon and now the Edith.
I mean, the thing is, the Edith was buffed in the last patch, but is it buffed enough to be playable on the MPL scene?
It has two very reliable sources of crowd control, but considering that the lineup from Aura is relatively tanky, having a tanky here that can transition into a DPS role later in the fight, I think it's a very unique approach to the team fights, and we'll have to see if it actually pays out, because as Miko mentioned, Sorizo is able to get his hands on the Uranus, so I think the macro play from Bigatron will decide whether or not Aura gets success as we take a look at the audience prediction by TikTok.
78% to 22% heavily in favor of Aura Fire, just like the desk. So we'll see. Based on the drafts though, I honestly feel like Aura, they're not using their normal characteristic, the way of the draft where they're always just so flexible. It feels like every hero they picked here, it was all going to go into the lane as predicted, right? Beatrix, Yves, that's only going to go to the mid lane and the gold lane. We'll see though with this new draft. Let's see if Aura can make a difference, can make or break it, as Bigatron Alpha Key is already forced to flicker early on, going in for that very, very aggressive invade.
Man, like really just started here, and you can see Godiva trying to punish him out as well. And I do agree with you, there is kind of this weird distinction now with Aura Fire in this particular match, and there is a possibility that they might be hiding more of their cards, but here it is, the contest of the Lethal Wanderer.
Well, Hai is on the Esmeralda, my friends. It is an Esmeralda jungle.
Okay, never mind, yeah.
So already we're seeing something confusing. This is not what we expected, as Godiva goes onto Marino, and Key will be there to back him away, and Bigatron Alpha, they're being very aggressive towards Aura Fire's jungle.
Yeah, they know Hai is on the Esmeralda, won't be able to farm really well, but it's actually Max who gets chunked low. He's forced to run away. He uses the first ability, Fluffy picks up the first blood, and here it is. Moreno comes in, trading it back. Facehugger taken low. Key going on to Hai, onto Godiva, who goes in for Earth Shatter, knocking Key up and providing the utility for the kill to be taken. BTR losing in the early fights. Aura Fire lead 2-1.
2-1 now for the side of Aura Fire, and they're being not as aggressive, but they're being counter-aggressive from what Bigatron Alpha has been throwing at them. And this was something that we highlighted as well, right? From the side of Aura Fire, but wait a second here. Sorizo 2 versus 1, he is still able to get out because he is on that Uranus with the Consecration as well. But like I was talking about before, is the fact that Aura Fire, when you feel like you can read their draft, they just come out with something unpredictable. But my question is an Esmeralda jungle still effective?
Well, considering the new meta where there'll be tanky members in the jungle with Demon Slayer emblem, just there to secure objectives and also gank for your team, I think Esmeralda plays the role quite well, and the team fight from Aura here, the AoE.
Yeah, Max is gonna get taken down instantly there as Sorizo tries to look for an opening. Fluffy taken low, Moreno picking up that kill. Real world inflation still there by Facehugger, putting damage on to BTR, but the wild charge catches Hai. No mana! Sorizo gonna get knocked up by Godiva. Onward, picking the kill up. But it's just a 1-for-2 trade, as Aura were able to take a turtle and a kill.
That 100% objective rate for the side of Bigatron Alpha has fallen this time around.
No.
I mean, they're so good at being able to zone out Max and even take him down. 2 minutes in, almost 3 minutes, and he's already died 2 times in order for Aura Fire to be able to secure those neutral objectives.
Oh man, with the cheeky steal. But yes, I agree with you, man. It's so weird, right? One time I was like, okay, Aura, they went for a predictable draft. Never mind. We get into the game. It's an Esmeralda jungle with a Demon Slayer emblem, Arashi.
Exactly. He is able to actually pierce quite well right now, and considering that there's a lot of fighters, essentially there's 3 fighters instead of Aura Fire, so that really gives you a lot of options to play around with in the early game. So I think it's a great approach, and it suits Aura Fire. And Bigatron trying to contest them early on in the jungle in those messy skirmishes, I think they're just playing right into Aura Fire's hands. So they need to try and play it a bit more calculatively, because Aura Fire, they are very happy to take those chaotic fights.
Oh, again, there's just a lot of aggression from Godiva as he opens up the map. He doesn't have the flicker now, so he can't go for the onward flicker combo. BTR reads it really well, but take a look at the items. Matt has completed the DHS in the 3rd minute of the game. This is pretty fast.
Yeah, and we do have a fun fact here by Grab as well, where it states that in Season 9, from a total of 3 times meeting one another, it does seem like Bigatron Alpha never was able to win a match against Aura Fire. So if history speaks volumes, then we might know what the outcome will be. But what I know from Season 10 is everything is so unpredictable. We don't know what is going to work and what will not. Because right now, Aura Fire was leading in a sense, but it's only a 300 gold gap.
Well, you know, history can repeat itself, but Arashi, why do we learn history in class?
So we don't repeat the same mistakes.
There you go.
Exactly. So again, this is the season of upsets, and Bigatron Alpha, they will have a chance, but the Aura engages.
Man, Max just doesn't have room to play. He got instantly CC'd by Godiva, and you can see, even as a roamer, the damage that Godiva is placing onto BTR members is definitely not something they can scrape off. They can just look to the other direction. They need to have an answer for this, because that's the 2nd turtle taken away by Aura Fire without any contest from BTR.
Oof, it's just so difficult because if they want to go aggressively towards the back line, there's so much crowd control from the Paquito, from the Edith, from High on the Esmeralda as well, just doing a lot of AoE damage to everyone. And if they don't, it's just very tanky in the front line, and then you can bet that Facehugger and Kabuki are going to do a lot of damage from the back line. So Bigatron Alpha, they're put in a difficult spot. They have to commit on one of those 2 game plans, and I think diving is more orientated in their composition, but they have to out-rotate Aura and win in the setups to get those very, very needed combos.
Oh, wait, Matt, he went in for the BMI. Oh, no, he goes back out. Oh, my God, clutch there. Godiva almost catching him with the onward, but now it's a setup from Aura and BTR. Godiva going very deep under the turret here in the midst of it all. High coming in for the backup as well. Matt using the BMI, getting out. Key putting the wall down, trying to look for Aura, but High comes in. A wild charge was not enough to get him out of there as Kabuki's Nibiru was able to catch him. Moreno taken down. Oh my goodness, the burst. And it's going to be Aura looking for another pick onto Matt, who's still able to clear the waves with the Blazing Duet. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it seems like Aura Fire are trying to look for BTR. Onward onto Max. Godiva flickering out of the Earth Shatter as he pops the ultimate to get out. Max still able to survive.
I mean, granted, the way that Aura Fire, how they're playing so aggressively and also trying to shut down Matt, and the fact that his power spike is not as early as the Beatrix, sitting at 0-0-0 right now is not bad, right? It's not bad, especially with the Avarice emblem that he has chosen to use. He is going to be able to kind of level it out. He is 1 level behind right now, but with the way that he's playing, he is a very reliable source of as a gold laner in that bottom side. I mean, look at this. High already putting a lot of pressure, even getting another objective in that bottom side, but Matt is still not able to be targeted.
And look at what BTR are doing. They instantly rotate towards that top side, knowing Esmeralda is down below, but even then, Moreno falls. Max looking for Retribution, gonna get Tain CC'd. He finds the Retribution, so Riza gonna get taken low. Consecration isn't enough. Fluffy just knocks him out with the jab. That's the snipe as well. Connecting. You do not need to chase anyone when you have Kabuki on your team, getting those snipes out of nowhere.
Man, 10-3 now in the 7th minute. They've actually crept up that gold lead to 2,000, almost 3,000 here. Now, my question is, Arashi, how and what winning conditions does Bigatron Alpha need to be able to get this win?
Well, they gotta dive towards the backline, man. Facehugger is 1-0-9. Already 9 assists to his name. And for Kabuki, you saw yourself the snipes, the damage potential that they have. So Bigatron, they cannot get stuck on Fluffy, on High, on Godiva. They have to look past them and get to the targets that actually matter. They have tools right now. They got a lot of dashes. They have CC immunity by Key and a wild charge that can set them up. So they have to try and find some info and maybe do some flanks and make sure they do get to that backline of Aura Fire. Because so far, just fighting it out like that, they lose out in AoE, they lose out in CC, and also in backline presence because Matt, as Eterna mentioned, has not reached his power spikes just yet.
I mean, for the moment, that seems very hard to even commit to right now because Aura Fire, look at the way that Facehugger is able to just zone everyone out, placing himself. His positioning has been so on point with the real-world manipulation, so even if Bigatron Alpha, they want to look for a huge engage in a 5v5 situation, it seems rather difficult. How would they fare if they go for pickoffs? Do you think that would work?
They go for pickoffs. I think they lack a bit of the crowd control, man. They have burst essentially, but they have no reliable way to just try and catch someone off. And even then, they don't have the burst right now. And if you can see right there, Fluffy has that burst, and he actually will go a bit aggressively as the rest of Bigatron. They need everyone here just to deter the aggression from Aura Fire.
It's so tough for BTR. If you take a look at the high ground as well, this is why the Yves Beatrix has been a prio pick for BTR in the past. It's because of that poke and the range that it adds, though. Key jumping with Wild Charge, and that's the real world manipulation. Finding its mark, gets the shutdown onto the hands of Moreno. That's a lot of gold put onto the main man in the mid game for BTR.
That was a really good pickoff. I mean, taking away Kabuki, they might be looking for something else here.
Yeah, Chorizo in that back line, just trying to disrupt as usual. Matt has a lot of stacks on his passive. Godiva forced to use the ultimate defensively, but Chorizo is the one who falls in this team fight. Max onto the Lord. High, trying to dish out the damage once again. Aura Fire members are low. Kabuki's finally spawning back into the game, and BTR will choose to back off.
Wow, that was a very smart play by Bigatron Alpha. We just mentioned how they need a pickoff, and Key was able to sneak behind everyone and get that engage onto Kabuki, but Aura actually go for the Lord.
Oh man, that was a good wild charge by Key, but Aura Fire are able to recover from the wild charge. That's the turtle, the Lord actually slain. Presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series. Fluffy dealing so much in that back line, actually.
He's doing so much damage. Like literally so much damage, because I saw his laning phase even against the Uranus, and he was chunking huge amounts of HP from someone like a Uranus. Like, how is that possible?
The new Pakiro just does a lot of damage if you know how to use the skills properly, right? If you can time your combos properly and actually use the right ones in the right moments, there's so much potential in this hero, and that is exactly why it's been just rising in popularity, like the new Axe effect.
Ooh, absolutely, man. The dual action, just like what they're trying to do here. Key gets the dual action, two-man knockup, but it's not enough. On the back line, Godiva gets the Earth Shatter, stopping Max from going in. Aura Fire once again using their heavy skirmishes to get turrets on the board. Kabuki with the snipes, doesn't connect onto anyone, just goes in for a few render shots onto the turret, and look at how much damage he's dealing to the turret here in the 11th minute, even without minions. You can tell that the item power spikes are there for Kabuki. I'm pretty sure he has the BOD.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's one of the first two items that he should be making, and you can see that the setup from the side of Aura Fire has been so phenomenal in terms of teamfight. They're able to use that real-world manipulation, but even if Bigatron Alpha, Max, or other members want to go in for that backline, they're either caught in the real-world manipulation or caught in the Earth Shatter like this.
There you go, just as you say. Godiva, though, he goes in very aggressively with the Flicker and onward now, forced to use that Retribution. Actually, no. Forced to use that ultimate backwards. It's going to be him taken out. And Bigatron Alpha have defended the Lord. They have to defend the bottom side, though. I don't think it's going to be available, though. Oh my god, Matt diving into that backline with the Wind of Nature. Pop, Kabuki taken so low, but BTR won't be able to find it. Perfectly walled there as High will be trapped. Real world inflation again by Facehugger, putting on so much damage. High still surviving. He gets out of the damage from BTR, and it's Chorizo's trying to run away. The snipes not connecting in the end. BTR fall back, and Aura Fire recover.
Aura Fire recover with a 6,000, almost 7,000 gold lead, and you can see how far behind they are as well in terms of levels. But in terms of items, how's it looking?
Well, High is just so farmed up, and he is so tanky, man. He has a good mix of physical and magic defense. So right there, he was caught out, but he was just calm, cool, collected. This is Aura in their absolute element. They are not afraid to take these weird fights and actually bring the fight to Bigatron Alpha. Kabuki was taken very, very low, so the win condition from Bigatron is the same, but Aura Fire are wisening up to the fact that they are actually diving towards that back line. They need to be a bit more careful with the positioning and maybe be a bit more diligent with the scouting for information, because Bigatron Alpha, they can play that vision game yet again and go for that backline dive.
I mean, even so, the Twins are 2 levels behind of respective Aura Fire. If I'm not mistaken, Max is 14, High is, we'll see in a bit, but they're 2 levels behind, guys.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Aura Fire, you know, even need to try to bait something out here. BTR, they're the ones who have to make a desperate play, and there you go. Fluffy with a knockout strike. 3 knockout strikes onto Max, and the follow-up as well, just to distract the BTR members for High to pick up the kill. Cerezo taken out. Moreno, he will not be able to run away here. That's a snipe once again by Kabuki, as the real-world manipulation locks him in place. Key forced to use the flicker defensively, and just like that, it's 15-5, 8.7 thousand gold lead, and the Lord as well.
You could see that the wild charge barely missed. He was trying to steal the Lord, and that's something that we can give him credit for. But look at this, the recalls, the disrespect already coming in from Aura Fire.
They're gonna go straight for the base here. Max has to use the retribution on the minions. There's so much damage coming out. And look at Fluffy, he's going all the way, almost taking Matt down, forcing him to use the BMI. Without that BMI, this is gonna be huge, as Aura Fire won't really have to look at Matt and feel a threat at all. Wall coming down. Aura Fire trying to siege down the base. Fluffy dealing the knockout strike over. Real world manipulation too, man, as Key cancels Facehugger's real world. Matt jumping with the blazing duet all the way towards Fluffy. They're still not able to get anyone down. Kabuki with the flicker to end the game. The Indonesian Terminator.
Wow, I don't know what to say. That was a massacre by Aura. Guys.
I'm joking. Game number 2 though, Eterna. Let's see, we're jumping straight into the drafts. Ladies and gentlemen, presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series. BTR on the red side, Aura on the blue side, still with the same exact bans from both of the teams. Aura opting to go for Kai, 1-1, and BTR going for the Fanny and the Ling.
I feel like going against a sustainable composition coming from Aura Fire, which is what I was trying to get at with you guys with that discussion about Claude, is I think Bigatron needs to contest the Beatrix away. I think it would be better going against Aura Fire this time around.
Well, remember, last time someone picked the Beatrix against Aura, it was Evo's. Clover picked the Beatrix, and he had to go up against a Yuzong in the gold lane, and that didn't really do well. You know, it didn't really, oh, it was pretty bad. It was, the Yuzong was able to just bully him completely, but you can see Aura making the right decisions. Just subtle differences here in the drafts can mean so much. Taking away that Eve, forcing a Valentina and a Faramis to be left up for grabs. BTR will not go for any one of these bans, because if they ban the Valentina, Faramis open, picked up Aura. Ban Faramis, easy Valentina for Aura.
Exactly. I think the Ling ban is also a bit questionable in a sense, because okay, if you want to ban out the Fanny because it's kind of OP and Kabuki is just notorious on it, okay, sure. But overall, right? If Hai is in the jungle, he is so adept at these fighters, at these weird picks like the Esmeralda jungle we just saw. I think it really is kind of pointless to try and target the bans towards him unless you have a specific purpose. So Bigatron very intelligently bans out the Kadita as well. So for Aura, they have the first pick, and it will be the Faramis.
Oh, man.
It's Facehugger's Faramis. We saw yesterday, the game that Aura were able to win against Onyx Eterna was the game with the Faramis.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, no, that's not good. Okay, so they think that the Kadita is more prio to take away than the Faramis. And I mean, you know, granted that Bigatron can always pick up the Valentina and use the IMU for the Cult Altar, but even in that sort of situation, we haven't seen the Valentina really work in that way. But I guess that's exactly the same thing that they want to go for. But like I mentioned before, the Beatrix here now comes up for the side of Bigatron, and I think this is a wise decision, but they also once again need to be aware of what you mentioned, Mirko, of the fact that Kabuki can be so flexible in that gold lane, and you need to be able to choose a hero that won't bully the Beatrix.
Exactly. Well, if Aura goes for a more aggressive hero like the Yuzong, for example, it will allow Bigatron to secure that late game. And honestly, the difference between the Valentina and the Faramis is still what we've been talking about, the proactivity, right? When you are the one that needs to actually, when you're done with the choice to actually start with the ultimate first, I think you have a lot more options and potential to make plays happen. And for Aura right now, it's going to be Natalia and Paquito, so...
And you don't know where
exactly
they're going.
It can go wherever at this point. This is so confusing. It is the Aura we've come to expect. And for Bigatron, I'm not sure, man. I think they should secure some kind of playmaking hero early on, because Aura might just ban them out later.
Natalia jungle?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Well, it does suit Marky's
used
comments. It does suit Marky's comments,
What did he
though,
say? What
on
did he say?
Indonesia and Philippines, because with the Natalia, Paquito, and the Fermes, this is very Indonesian. It's very aggressive, in contrast to the Philippines, where they're very disciplined. They don't take as many fights as the Indonesian teams.
I mean, hence game duration, right?
Yeah.
When people are casting for PH teams, it could go on for like more than 20 minutes. It can
Yeah, I
even go
agree.
to 30, 40 minutes, but
Especially Omega games, man.
exactly.
we had our fair share of
Yep.
casting Omega games at MSC, and yeah, every single game they just knew how to bring it over to that late stage of the game, and that's what BTR are trying to do with their composition. Arashi, Beatrix, Esmeralda.
Well, I'm just left out here because I wasn't there. But anyhow, Bigachan very smartly bans out the Direward as well. So now Key, well, not Key, obviously, Sorizo will actually have a chance to actually flex out that EXP lane tank sustain gameplay. But for Aura, will they have a plan? They ban out the Balmond to ensure that there won't be any shenanigans in securing the neutral objectives. And for both teams right now, I think we are still wondering, right, who exactly will be the main roamer, because I think we've seen a lot of games just being decided off the back of who can make the better initiation.
It's really tough if I'm looking at BTR's composition. They have a Beatrix that's just so vulnerable. Sure, if the Valentina is actually able to find a call alter pick ultimate every single time, Beatrix is gonna have a fun time. I don't think that's gonna happen though, with all the silences that a lot of utility, a lot of CC, and obviously the silence from Natalia. It can just make this Valentina a non-factor, and Matt's gonna have a hard time.
Man, I thought Bigatron was going to ban the Yuzong away, but it turns out they're going to ban the Atlas here instead. So, Aura Fire now, they have a chance. What do they want to limit here? Because base value, I don't know. Should they be banning out the jungle once again, just like Balman? That's going to be the question here. But we also have a comment by Tezet from the side of Aura Fire. The strongest side laners in Indonesia are Kabuki and Kira. I mean, I agree though.
Well, they
For the moment, I agree.
It's a very dynamic combo, right? Having a very dominant gold and EXP lane, two opposite sides of the map. It really is confusing to deal with for sure. But for Aura, to answer your question, I think they have to secure engage, and they have to try and deny disengage from the side of Bigatron, because yes, the cult altar is very useful, only if you can make sure that the opposing team needs to stay in that fight. And the only way they can do it later on, they have the benefit of being able to use the Lords, for example, to try and force them into fights. But you know, before that, I think Bigatron, they have potential to do something else. So Franco will be secured by them.
Oh, BTR going for the Franco. I have a funny feeling that Aura, Kabuki will go for a Cho. I don't know why. I have a feeling that he might just go for a Cho.
Gold lane Cho?
Yeah, a gold lane Cho that we have seen many times before. If it's not the gold lane Cho, I don't know why. I think the Paquito might go to the gold lane, high and dry, Kabuki style.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, if they want to go and burst down Matt, right? If they burst down Matt here, the rest of the team, yeah, they do damage, but he is one of the core members. So if they can make sure that he does not get to play the game at all, they have a chance of just taking over. And with everyone so mobile and so dive heavy, then it also supports the usage of the cult altar.
I think that if they do go for that route, Natan jungle. But no, they go for the Brody, a Kufra pick, and we still don't know who's going where. This is stressful, man. Aura, make it easier. Who's going where? The logical one would be Natalia jungle, Kufra roam, Paquito XP. But
we've seen it flipped over where Kufra goes into the jungle.
And last game, did anyone expect Esmeralda to go to the jungle? Exactly. So at this point, we're just gonna say, I don't know what to say anymore when we're talking about Aura. But BTR, with their draft to wrap things off, Valentina already with the Franco, they need they need a jungler right now, unless they want to try the Esmeralda in the jungle.
No way. No way. That'll be such a bold maneuver. Trying out a strat against a team that actually, like, you know, made it happen the first time. They go for that Boxia. It makes sense. It will be tanky. It can provide a lot of CC, and it will deter the chase coming in from Aura. But overall, speaking of the crowd control department, right? I think Aura just has a huge edge, and I worry for Bigatron that Aura are just going to take over the game based on that alone.
I agree. I feel like Aura were you know, have the better draft coming into game number 2. I think they're more multi-dimensional with the range, with the team fight that they have, and the thing is, the win condition that I'm seeing right now from Bigatron is either we wait for the late game for Beatrix to actually pop off, or we go for picks. I don't think you're going to be able to find picks against a composition as tanky as that.
That's the only possibility that they can do, whereas from the side of Aura Fire, they can work around the Natalia for pickoffs. They can go for those really huge momentum-based strats in those team fights with the Cooper as well. So there's just so many things to work with, whereas from the side of Bigatron, they're relying heavily on the damage output coming in from the Beatrix.
Let's see, ladies and gentlemen, game number 2. Here we go into the land of Dawn. Arashi, I want to know your thoughts, but wait, before that, Godiva's gonna get hooked in by Key. It's just a Kufa though, they are chill in the early game. Thoughts on the draft? It is actually high in the jungle, so we predicted it. Hey, finally, Aura. We can predict Aura.
They're just changing it up, and you never really know, man. So, I don't know, for High right now, the fact that he's on a Natalia, we saw this being a problem when Alter Ego was trying to utilize Leo Murphy on this Natalia. Yes, it's not the same situation, but I really think that there's only one target available for High, essentially, right? Everyone else can just adapt in playstyle or in itemization to try and deal with that burst. So he might have struggles later on in the game, but early on here, it does seem that Bigatron are already trying out a more proactive strategy using Key as Franco.
I mean, this is what they were trying to do in game number 1 too, right? They were trying to be the more proactive team on the map. They were trying to be the more aggressive team. But I guess in game number 2, they're, you know, taking things a little bit more slowly for the moment. I mean, it does seem like he is pressured heavily by Godiva, and they're really playing towards their winning lane here in that bottom side. As here, it seems like Kabuki here might go in.
Yeah, Kabuki, no flicker instantly. Iron Hook flicker by Key, bringing him back under the turret for Matt to pick off. First Blood presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series, taken out. But High is looking for something as well. Godiva, very good flicker, combined with High jumping in. That's a kill traded for Aura Fire.
Yeah, this is the showdown between the two roamers who can actually enable their team more and get more ahead. So with Key on the Franco, we already see a lot more competitive Bigatron Alpha.
Well, even so, though, sorry, I took a moment to think here because they've already gotten a 1-for-1, but once again, the Iron Hook connects onto Kabuki, but Matt was kind of slow there with the response. But what I wanted to ask was, they are 1-to-1 right now, but why is Bigatron Alpha leading in economy?
Last hits, probably. Just the last hits, the laning that they have been able to do. They do have an Esmeralda in the top side, which is a winning lane. And Matrix as well, but here you go. Key again with the hooks, able to find High, but it's going to be the Cold Ulcer placed by Facehugger. Fluffy jumping in, another Cold Ulcer placed by Moreno, and BTR winning out in this team fight. Max picking up the turtle, looking for another kill onto Fluffy, and BTR 1,000 gold lead.
Wow, that was quite disrespectful of High to just walk up like that. I don't know what the plan was, but the Cold Altar was used and it was countered by Bigatron's own Cold Altar. And as you can see, High just needs to actually make sure he doesn't get caught out or even like walk to different, to weird directions, because he can only go on one person. And if he's exposed, then Bigatron don't have to worry about the invisible Natalia presence.
Oh my god, did Matt just snipe Brody? Yeah, he did. Matt just sniped Kabuki, and Sorizo is buying so much time, putting so much pressure onto High. Key with another hook here as Matt just dumps in with the Wesker damage. Tyrant's Revenge and the Rage though by Godiva, knocking Matt down. That's gonna be the bloody hunt. Pops Matt picking up the kill. High jumping in onto Matt, has the Wesker, but it does not matter. High picks it up. Moreno coming in with the follow-up, trying to get the kill onto High. Max gonna get pulled over under the turret, but High falls with Max popping into his poisons to get out. Torn apart memory, not enough to take him down. BTR again leading in this game still. Oh, no. He knows where Kabuki is. He might just go for a cheeky hook, but Kabuki reads it well, backs off.
Ooh, that was very, very close, man. We take a look at the items here, and there's going to be an advantage when it comes to clearing for Max. This is, weirdly enough, a strat we saw Aura Fire popularize, right? The Baxia in the jungle being too tanky and being so active, he is able to actually impact all the lanes at the same time, just moving around. And Matt just lands a snipe right there. So the laning phase is going to be a lot rougher for Aura Fire. They actually have an advantage when it comes to the team fights later on.
Oh my god, Key! What? With the read, he brings that! Oh my god, Eva's just going to get deleted! Oh, that was a good read by Key. He's feeling it. He is feeling it.
Man, Franco matches gives me heart attacks just over and over, as it does seem now that Sorizo here might be caught 2 versus 1, and he is able to sustain, actually.
Let's see, Sorizo just one hit away. He gets out in the 2v1. Deja vu to their match against Rebellion.
Now, that is some happy feet maneuver by Sorizo. He's able to get out, and with the members of Aura Fire coming in from that top lane fight, they can get the turtle right now and Fluffy. Man, he's just landing hooks willy-nilly, and he doesn't really care if there's nothing on the back of him.
Yeah, he's grabbing these picks just like you can grab food, but look who's gonna get grabbed here, Moreno in the mid lane. Aura definitely used the promo code there.
Man, like there's just so many things going on right now. Both are looking for insane pickoffs, and it's working. And you can see here, Facehugger as well as Godiva, they're looking to make a play here, I think, against Key as well as Matt.
4 mana in the bottom side. Key trying to go in, but look at that, instantly demolished, devoured by Aura Fire as they pick up the kill. Only to the roamer, however. Max has rotated down below. Kabuki using the Tornado Prompt memory, clearing out the waves, providing some space for his team to look for a play in the enemy jungle. Bringing Max back, but it's only Godiva who's caught now in that position for BTR to capitalize. A flicker was popped by Godiva defensively, and now BTR are still grasping onto that lead.
There was a reason why the Beatrix as well as Franco combo meta was so effective, and you can see how it's actually panning out. But if Aura Fire can actually take away that main damage from the side of Matt, it's going to be easier for Aura Fire to engage in these team fights. But wait a minute, here we go.
Yeah, Hai jumped in onto Key. There's no more follow-up as of right now. BTR just playing the game slowly. They're just playing off of Key's hooks. If Key can land that hook, BTR collapse. It's very similar to Geek Fam game number 1 against RQ.
Exactly, I think he is the main tool here, and if he misses the hook though, you can see Aura Fire, they understand the win condition. Ooh, that was a very close iron hook. If it does not land though, Aura Fire is absolutely content in just jumping onto Bigoton Alpha, knowing that they won't get jumped on, and there won't be any pick-up advantage by Key's iron hook, but he makes it almost happen again, and Aura Fire, they're getting pressured by the hook threat alone.
Let's see here, BTR, they have pressure on the bottom side. They're going to use that pressure to convert over to the turtle. Aura Fire have no response as of right now. It's still BTR who are able to take the turtle. No contest whatsoever. That's the 3rd turtle presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series as BTR look to convert on more objectives here. Maybe possibly the bottom side will be targeted first.
What do you think is happening right now from the side of Aura Fire? Do you think they're waiting for a certain power spike to hit before they go guns blazing? But once again, man, Key with the hook, stop, man.
Yeah, he's just really disrupting Aura's momentum here. Even those small hooks that feel like it does nothing because it's only onto Godiva, it cancels the threat of a Tyrant's Revenge.
Right. I think that's just, great pressure from Key. And honestly, to your answer about Aura waiting for something, I'm not sure. If they bring it to the late game, I don't think they have this game because it's a Brody against a Beatrix, and I guess it's a Natalia versus a Baxia, but I think that final pick, the Baxia in the jungle, was absolutely what seals the deal for Bigatron, because right now he is so passive, he has 3 kills, but he is not getting the same kind of threat, the same kind of presence that he would like to have in this game, because everyone is just so tanky.
And look again at Sorizo, the man that was highlighted in the pre-match video. He's doing so much for his team just by cutting the waves, and he is going up against a 4-man composition up there. Again, buying time, putting everyone, everyone's focus onto himself as BTR pick off a trade. Key goes in for the hook, doesn't connect onto Fluffy. And that's a turret pickup. Now, with this, take a look at the items. Beatrix with the BOD already, Arashi.
Beatrix ready with the BOD, and Kabuki understanding the tankiness of the team he's up against. He rushes the Malefic Roar, but will that be enough? We'll just have to see as Max goes in aggressively and Facehugger gets taken out instantly.
Oh, but look at this. The suppression actually is going to hit as high. It is going to be the one to fall, Mirko.
Yeah, I don't know. Aura, they should not take this fight. They're 2-man down. Facehugger was able to respawn with a passive very, very fast back into that mid lane. Key finds Godiva. I thought that was Facehugger for a second, but BTR, they're looking for the Lord, instantly committing onto it. No high just yet. It's going to be the Retribution here. Cold Altar as well placed, but it's actually Matt who picks it up, and Key finds Facehugger. Facehugger taken down by Sorizo. My goodness gracious. All right, this might be another power pick.
No way!
Oh my God! Stop this man! Someone, take him out!
This is so brilliant by Bigatron Alpha, and look at the lead. A 2-for-0 trade, and now 5,000 gold ahead as well. They're looking once again to get another objective, and the presence of Key alone, even if he does not land that hook, it prevents Aura Fire from going in too aggressive, because they know even if, let's say, Godiva goes in with the Tyrant's Rage and Revenge, there's always a bloody hunt to be able to prevent anything from happening.
Exactly. The difficulty right now is Aura Fire. They don't have anybody that is able to just withstand the initial burst. If someone gets hooked and he gets bursted down by Marino and Matt, even Godiva isn't tanky enough to withstand that kind of damage yet, and so they are pressured to just be on the back foot. And we have mentioned this again and again. When Aura Fire is playing defensive, they are not proactive. They are just losing out on a lot of tempo and momentum that they usually rely on to get an advantage. So Bigatron, they are completely taking over the game purely based on Key. I'll say that again. It's ridiculous.
See, put him on a playmaking hero. Cho Franco, he performs, and that's exactly the reason that you should just put him on these playmaking heroes, because in every game, in every match that they have won, BTR, mostly it has come from Key.
Oh my god, sorry.
Oh, that was close. That was
gave you a
really
heart
close.
attack.
I think that gave Kabuki a little heart attack too, man. Oh, Key. I think right now it's personal between him and Kabuki. He really wants to find Kabuki. Every single time he throws that hook, he's always trying to look for Kabuki.
I mean, that's the one person that you definitely should target, right? I mean, Godiva, sure, you can burst him, but you're going to waste a lot of resources. But Kabuki, on the other hand, you don't need to waste much, and he's definitely going to go down. But once again here, Soriza with his 1v4.
Oh my god.
Oh,
no! Key! No, you have something against Kabuki for sure. Man, Fluffy using knockout strike to buy some time, but BTR on the back of Sorizo's play was able to capitalize to find Kabuki. Cult Altar by Moreno. They're looking for the siege down in that top side. Fluffy dealing the damage onto the Cult Altar as they try to hunt high down.
Man, like even if they want to go for a backdoor type of approach and relying heavily onto high, you can see that Bigatron Alpha, they're already face checking all those bushes. They know exactly where Natalia could be, and we're going to take a look at the damage dealt here by Axe, and this is something that we mentioned even before game number 1. So Rizzo with the highest damage dealt once again on that Esmeralda, but look at this.
Oh man, High, he tried to assassinate Matt, but the team was there to follow up. And this is why the Natalia is finding such a tough time in this game. It's the fact that BTR have so much lockdown and so much CC.
Exactly. He just doesn't have a lot of options, and so Bigatron knows the only person he was going to target, it will be Matt, and anyone else is essentially safe from that, and that just makes High's playmaking so predictable for Bigatron Alpha. And without him being an X factor, it's effectively a 5v4. Bigatron Alpha will get the Lord slain by Samsung Galaxy A series, and with that, they can just continue to siege. They can use Matt's higher, superior range to just like knock down these turrets slowly but surely as the fight breaks out in the jungle right now.
Fluffy gonna get hooked there. So much damage placed, forcing the Cult Altar, and just like that, they've done it. They baited out the most important resource they need to siege the base down.
Right before the Lord is going to march there in that mid side. So, you know, maybe having a one-dimensional draft is not too bad for Bigatron Alpha.
I don't know if this is a visual bug, but take a look at Facehugger. It's still green.
I think he has a lot of cooldown reduction, but I don't think it's that fast. Yeah, I don't really think it's that fast. As Bigatron, they might make a play with the Cult Altar to end the game, the same way we've seen so often these days.
Let's see, ladies and gentlemen, Godiva trying to defend. Bloody Hunt instantly as he gets deleted off of the map. Soriza with a falling Simon on the back. That's going to be the Cult Altar placed by Moreno. Fluffy going to get taken down as Matt flickers forward. Facehugger doesn't have the Cult Altar. He's going to be terrified. A triple kill for Matt. He's looking for the Maniac. He goes for the shot. He gets the Maniac, but it's not the Savage. It's just the Maniac as they take it and equalize game number 2. It's 1-1.
Wiped out by Bigatron as they look for an amazing...
With the switch up between the Paquito, Natalia, as well as, I forgot the last hero, but they're just confusing us again and again. So when it comes to diversity and flexibility, as well as adaptability, I think Aura has an edge. Will that be enough, though, to actually defeat the new Bigatron?
Well, there's nothing new about the draft, Arashi. It's the same exact draft as game number 1. Very close to game number 2. We're seeing the Fanny, the Ling. We're going to see the Kadita next if it's exactly the same. And from Aura, same thing. 1-1. And then we have the Akai. Will we see the... Oh, okay, they've changed something. Okay, there you go. Some changes.
Does this mean that the Kadita is going to be opened up here for Aura Fire? So that's interesting. That's something that's still on the table. The Valentina as well as the Faramis is still available to be picked up. But Aura Fire instantly with the Franco Respect Band taking it away from Key.
Well, Bigatron has the chance to secure the Faramis right now, but they go for the Valentina instead. In a way, it's a lot more versatile. For the side of Aura, though, they will take that Beatrix Faramis. The Beatrix, so far the team that has the Beatrix has won the game, so will that be the deciding factor?
That might be it here. She's so clutch, she's so flexible, and the adaptability that she has in the games as to what weapon she takes during every different situation is so important. And we'll see BTR now that they're up against the Beatrix. Do they want to pick up the same Claude that we saw from game 1? I don't think they should go for that. Going up against a Faramis, that Claude is gonna have a tough time. They instead secure the Paquito and they secure a Karina, which is pretty good up against a Faramis, but oh, there you go. Godita is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, signature picks coming through.
Signature picks coming through, and signature picks also taken away. I have to say that although Key was the #1 playmaker in game number 2, it was Matt being able to be just really consistent, reliable, dishing out the damage when he needed. And you could see that most of his snipes went in and was able to even take Kabuki out in that bottom lane. So we'll see what happens as we can see a little head-to-head here between both roamers, Godiva as well as Key. And it seems like Godiva is ahead in that particular category.
Well, Aura has just been a lot more successful playing around Godiva, but this is the first time we ever see his Kadita in Season 10. So for Bigatron, what will be their answer? Because they need something equally, if not better, in the playmaking department. Will they find another hero that can help out Key in his job against Godiva? Or will they go for the opposite route and try and get disengaged instead, safety? So I think the final few bans will be very telling. Balmond will be banned out, and the Atlas for Aura, they want to make sure that Key doesn't have any counter plays.
I'm curious what Bigatron is going to put in that gold lane.
Same here. The options right now, Brody, technically we saw Brody in game number 2 on the hands of Kabuki against the Beatrix. Popo and Koopa, Claude, perhaps even a Clint. Yeah, it's still up for grabs. But I don't know. I don't like it, yeah.
I don't like it because if you want to go for a Clint, let's say, who is... He's good, right? He dishes a lot of damage and arguably the highest damage right now in the game with his crit passive. The problem is that makes a really juicy target for Kadita.
Right. I think it's very difficult when you want to make sure that if you want to put all your damage, all your eggs in one basket, when you have someone that can just snatch it away, that's a bit of a dangerous strategy. So now the first pick on the second phase will be for Aura, and they need some frontline for sure. I'm not sure what they want to go for because the Esmeralda is banned out. They can go for the Uranus if they really want to, but I'm not sure if they want to go with that, considering like they have a Faramis and so far only Godiva on that CC department.
Another thing that I've noticed is that they banned 3 of Key's heroes.
They did.
He's only used the Franco, the Atlas, as well as the Lolita, and all 3 of that has been taken away. So they have found that the key to what Bigatron gave was literally Key.
Yeah.
But now, Aura, they are going to be responding with a Benedetta pick.
Yeah, this is the pick that we saw yesterday against Onyx. Obviously, they weren't able to get the victory, but Fluffy was absolutely phenomenal on this pick, on the Benedetta. We'll see. BTR, Onyx countered this Benedetta with a Phoveus pick. BTR have the chance to do that. Maybe bringing that Paquito into the gold lane and picking up a Phoveus in the XP. The only thing is they're going to be lacking a whole lot of range if they do that. I think the best option right now for BTR is still to go for a marksman in the gold lane and a solid roamer. I think a Cho works really well here, but they go for the same draft as game 1, Claude and Grok.
Wow, well, they have, again, the same kind of dive situation, but I'm really concerned with the playmaking, man. Godiva on his signature playmaking hero, and Bigatron without any playmaking. Yes, he can use the passive of the Grok to avoid getting bursted down and locked down, but will that be enough? Because for the, he needs to not only worry about himself, but also worry about enabling the rest of the team.
Aura Fire, next pick here. We have the Beatrix in the gold lane, Faramis for Facehugger, Kadita in that roaming position, and you know, Benedetta in the EXP, but isn't there a possibility that the Benedetta could be placed in
The jungle?
that jungle? But
Nope,
no.
never mind.
Okay,
Oh.
never mind. The Amon is going to be coming through for the side of Aura Fire here. So they have a lot of burst here from the side of Aura Fire. And does that naturally negate what Bigatron is drafting for?
It all comes down to whether or not Moreno can steal the Cult Altar. If he can get the Cult Altar and use it properly, then all the burst that Aura has will not
Work.
It will not work. It literally will not work. It will not amount to anything.
But remember, they still do have the Beatrix to rely on in case that burst does not work out for them.
And BTR have Claude. So again, it's really just gonna come down to the execution. I feel like both of these drafts are very, very good, very solid. It's all gonna come down to those little decisions, those little mechanical plays that the players will make in the game. Rashi picks before we jump in.
I think Aura has the advantage when it comes to range, and they have more options to play around with. They can split push, they're more flexible, they can go for the dives, they can go for the kite back. So I think Aura will have this one in the bag.
Ladies and gentlemen, the decider, 1-1. We're back to a best of one into the Land of Dawn. Let's see, is it Aura or is it Bigatron Alpha? Tell your opinions in the chat right now.
That definitely is going to be the million-dollar question here. Bigatron Alpha, they've opted with the fact that they cannot rely on Key so much because the dynamic issue because of the Grok is that it's such a one-hit wonder. If he can't land the ultimate, it's very difficult for them to be able to, you know, initiate anything onto Aura Fire, but already Key feeling a lot of pressure as well as aggression here, but he might be punished for it.
Uh-oh, Flicker early on. He actually got the small minion, and that actually enabled Karina to get a clear onto the purple buff. He's going onto the Lethal Wanderer. Max, however, wasn't really able to steal that much. He only stole one teddy bear, and he didn't go for the orange buff. He instead goes for the Lethal Wanderer, and he's gonna get punished by Kabuki. Facehugger picks up the first blood, presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series. I don't know, I feel like Max should have just gone over to the enemy jungle, taken that orange buff, and be done with it.
Yeah, I think, again, fighting early game when you have less setup is just so dangerous right now as Key gets taken very low, and that will be Godita picking up a kill. Aura Fire in the early game, absolutely ruthless.
Oh, they're not stopping there. Going on to Max again. Retry battle. Here we go. It's high, who wins it. But it's going to be the knockup coming in from the breath of the ocean. Godiva has the oddity. He can't just use it to get out. He's not even using it here. He's waiting for the last second for the passive to get that HP back. Facehugger taking low. Max going for the damage. The wall will not have an impact. Facehugger can go through it.
Man, they get really aggressive and they don't pay a single price there from the side of Aura Fire. And this is looking a little deja vu to game number 1 where Max was denied anything in the jungle, and that's exactly what they're trying to replicate here. And you can see that even Matt has been pressured in that bottom lane.
And talking about the setup differential, Aura Fire has 2 Petrifies in addition to their already superior setup. So they can just be a lot more aggressive, and Bigatron, they're on reactive mode, and we've seen how that works out against Aura Fire. So either they have figured something out, or maybe they'll go for Godiva and burst him down instead.
1 HP. Moreno has the Cold Ultra. Petrify gonna be used. Moreno doesn't pop the Cold Ultra. Retribution again. Max finds it. Fluffy going to deal damage onto him. Turtle Slane presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series. Max taking low. Brock back to his team, but the Shadow Assault comes in. Facehugger with the last basic attack gets the kill. So Rizzo now going to be the prey. That hunt that is going to be hunted down, but it's actually going to be Sorizo bringing him back. He gets the outplay on Godiva with the knockout strike. And BTR, they find a trade, an objective, and a kill.
Brilliant outplay there by Sorizo in that top lane. He knows exactly how Godiva works and was able to actually deny that kill away from them. But when we take a look at the emblems, does anything stick out to you, Rush?
Well, Max on the tank Karina with a Demon Slayer will be attempting to get those neutral objectives, but it's only a matter of time. Once the power spikes come in from the side of Aura Fire, they will, again, go with their usual pattern of just winning in the fights first, deleting Max before the fight even begins, and then going for the objective afterwards, because he is now 0-2.
Fun fact though, Eterna and Arashi, wait a minute though, Key, yeah, that's not gonna be a kill. Godiva still has the rough waves, but this is the first time we'll see a unique hero. Wait a minute, what's going on? I don't have a chance to talk about the, the other aspects of this game because they just keep on going for fights. But all right, here, Sorizo has only played 2 heroes in MPL. This is the first time he's playing a hero that's not Uranus, that's not Esmeralda.
Ooh. So he will lack in the experience department, but so far he's been having a great time here, although Fluffy has been a lot more dynamic and a lot more proactive in roaming around, being a nuisance to the rest of Bigatron as Sorizo gets bursted down, but High will actually hold his own, and I think Sorizo's stuck here. He might get taken out.
Yeah, Fluffy jumps in with the electro final blow. Sorizo almost finding that kill there, but meanwhile on the bottom side, my goodness, the combo of the Rough Waves and Kabuki Snipe finding the kill. And it's Aura who are leading very similarly to game one.
Man, that gold shield has just been shredded as well. So you can say that right now Kabuki is leading heavily in terms of gold, and you can even see from the level difference. Kabuki level 7 already, and Matt only at level 6 for the moment, as once again, Aura Fire with the better setup here on this next objective.
Right, Key is right there to try and deny the turtle, delay it as much as possible, but the rest of the team isn't there yet, and even if they are, Aura Fire will be the first to pull the trigger unless they can do something unexpected.
Cold Altar there, Moreno popping the same here. You're gonna go on to High, who's gonna get Silent Shadow Assault to the back line as Max picks up the kill. No, it's actually Moreno. Godiva missing that Breath of the Ocean, doesn't have the Petrify to combo it through. 25 seconds for that Petrify to come back. Meanwhile, Paquito just eating that turret up in the top side as Max dishes out the damage onto the turtle. Turret gonna be taken down up top. That's a 1-for-0 in terms of objectives. That's a 2-for-0.
2-for-0, and because they were able to deny High as well as take him down, it was Bigatron Alpha having the better possibility of getting that turtle. And now it's not going to stop there, because now they're focusing their focus onto this mid-side turret.
Let's see, Facehugger trying to bring Key back. Still has the anti-CC as Fluffy jumps in, pushing the damage out. Goes in for the Eye for an Eye as well, and Moreno takes the Cult Altar away. 5 minutes in the game, both of the teams looking for the pressure. Sorizo going in with a knockout strike onto High. Once again, he jumps in. High's ultimate not able to dish the damage out just yet. Moreno preemptively uses that Cult Altar as it was going to go on cooldown. Aura Fire, they're losing their gold lead, their grasp on that game, but Godiva, ooh, so close to using that Petrify. Moreno just so clean with the Key, jumping with the Wild Charge again, flickering out from Facehugger's range.
Once again, we're caught in a situation where it's going to be objectives over kills, and we'll see what actually is going to happen here as we're going to take a little look into the items here in minute number 6.
Kabuki with the Hunter Strike right now with a lot more burst, and Matt, he's still on the Demon Hunter Sword, so still quite a bit of time before he will get the golden stuff as well and hit that very critical power spike. On the other hand, though, you can see that Fluffy is going for the tank Benedetta build, so it's just so annoying. But can it match up against Sorizo with the Bloodlust Axe? So the dueling between the Paquito and the Benedetta will actually be quite important unless another member gets involved.
Yeah, there you go. That's a kill traded in. Godiva with the Breath of the Ocean and the Petrify, finding Moreno, who's still so tanky. Has the Cold Altar pop, and look at Kabuki! He takes all of that Cold Altar health out, and that is going to be Key targeted. Breath of the Ocean finding him. Kabuki dealing the DPS onto his Fluffy, finishes him off, getting the killing spree for himself. Max jumping in onto Fluffy, getting the kill, picking up the shutdown onto Moreno. Damage coming back onto Max, and the snipes from Kabuki. He does not miss.
Oh my god, it would have been a good trade for the side of Bigatron Alpha, but it has been traded back because of that snipe coming in from Kabuki. My god, I did not expect that from happening, but now it's going to be a little reset here for both teams as the turtle has already spawned in the Land of Dawn. We'll see who has a better setup right now because he is trying to open up the map, open up vision as well. But you can see that 4 members already in that turtle area.
One thing to note down is Matt has been going, he has been actually utilizing the defensive items more here in the game. He went for the tough boots, getting that magic defense. He's also building towards a Wind of Nature instead of a golden staff for second item. So this might be the item power spike for BTR. They're not going to have it in the mid game as that's Sorizo picking up a turret in the bottom side. No trade just yet. Fluffy just clearing out the waves as they look for the turtle up top. High jumping in. That's a retribution. Moreno gets it.
What?
Out of the 2 junglers, it's a mid laner from BTR. Key jumps with the Wild Charge, stunning Facehugger up, has the Cold Altar right now. No one using it just yet. Both teams backing up. Moreno dealing the damage onto Fluffy with the Eye for an Eye, and the final blow. He wanted to catch him with the Petrify. Unfortunately, Moreno was able to dodge away from it.
Hold up. What happened in that turtle area? How was Moreno able to get that turtle away from Aura Fire?
Miscalculation.
Well, there is a lot of burst in Moreno's kit, but that is just uncharacteristic of both these junglers for sure. And Right now, it's looking more and more even. Aura Fire seems to be struggling with the potential for Bigatron Alpha to counter them with the Cult Altar of their own. Here's an instant replay by the Samsung Galaxy A-Series of that fight in the mid side. Fluffy goes in aggressively, almost makes it out, takes an extra tower shot, gets taken out here, and he gets Max so low, and that is a snipe coming in from Kabuki. This is this man's expertise in the gold lane.
So on point by Kabuki there, but interestingly enough, Max didn't even use his retribution, so I'm really wondering what happened there. But now you can see Godiva already with an engage onto Cerezo. He's actually still able to sustain away from that fight right now as Moreno pops up the Cult Altar.
That's a huge resource, once again, burnt out. BTR won't have this for a few seconds. Aurafire can capitalize on this, using the knowledge that they have of the cooldown to maybe possibly look for more objectives on the map. Notice how they have the lead, but they are behind in terms of objectives. Ski bursts it down. My goodness. Did you take a look? Did you take a peek at what High has, items-wise?
I think he has a genius one at this point, but that is still a lot of damage. I think the question is, what is key building if he gets popped like that? Because we said it earlier, if your front line gets popped like that, everyone else behind you, they have to be a bit reluctant to go in as Matt takes one to the back.
Oof. And half health, even a little bit more there, as it just seemed like Aura Fire here. They're looking for something, understanding that the Lord is going to spawn very soon. Godiva looks for an engage on either Moreno, but top side here. Cerezo trying to pressure High away from this buff, but is it going to be a mistake?
Let's see. Cerezo still able to kite away. Goes in. Petrify. Going to be popped onto Cerezo. Fluffy trying to deal the damage, but Cerezo is just too mobile on this Paquito. He's still able to maneuver around the lane. And he's actually going to be able to clear the waves faster. Now, they have a man advantage, but look at what Cerezo is doing. He's not rotating over to the Lord. He's going up to clear the waves again, trying to get even more pressure. Fluffy now has to respond to this. He's instead going over. He's not trying to clear out the waves, and this might be the X factor. This might be the curveball for Aurafire to take the victory in the Lord fight.
We'll see what happens. I mean, right now, still 4v4 here in that turtle area. We already see a play perhaps happening from Corbin, but look at this, Godiva in the backside.
Oh, they baited out the Cult Altar. Once again, they have it, but it's not going to be enough. Matt is taken so low. Moreno was a little late to the party when it came to the Cult Altar, and it's a 2-4-0. Cerezo in the back, he's looking for a pick. He might just go onto Fluffy or Facehugger, but man, this is risky. This is very risky. He jumps in onto nobody. He goes on for the knockout strike onto Kabuki, dealing the damage out, going for the snipes, almost finding Cerezo. Max with retribution, he does not get it. Way too lethal. It's Kabuki again who gets it. The Shadow Assault is not enough to take High down. The Petrify to peel, and Kabuki to melt him down. Aura Fire with the lead.
2-0 trade here for the side of Aura Fire, plus a Lord already marching in that bottom side. Anything change here from the side of items, Arashi?
Well, Kabuki has the Wind of Nature right now, along with a Malefic Roar, so a lot of damage and a lot of protection from Cerezo and Matt if they want to dive in towards him. And on the other side, for the side of Matt, he does have a Wind of Nature of his own, but he's up against an AA-mon that can just burst him down regardless. So it's just a bit more difficult because Aurafire has more diversity when it comes to the burst potential.
Don't call him that. Don't call him an AA Mon, Arashi. Don't. Just don't. But yeah, Aurafire, with the Lord that they have, they're getting a lot of value from it, actually. With Kabuki on the Renner, they're just taking a whole lot of that jungle creep. And whoa, what?
Wow.
What happened? Matt, he tried to go for the split push on the Claude up against Aurafire right now, and it did not work out. The Endless Shard was able to pick it up. Fluffy jumps in very deep onto that back line with the Electrifying Blow. He even gets out there, even without the help of the Petrify. And again, Aurafire finding incredible value from that first Lord. Base turrets, the only turrets left, and they're going to be able to take, I think, 2 more turrets up top.
I mean, the thing is about Fluffy is that he's opted to itemize defensively, so he's actually able to go in, try to take all the resources away from Bigatron.
Wow.
And win in those team fights, but what happened?
I want to take a look at the items. That was one basic attack. One basic attack from Kabuki. Renner shot took a third of Key's HP.
2/3 almost. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous, but looking at the damage dealt by Axe though, High is doing the highest damage in the game on an assassin. So far, right, that has not ever been the case, I think.
Oh my god.
Looking at the players' gold by UBS Gold, though, Kabuki and Hai are just dominating it, and Matt is keeping up with the gold, but will that be enough, though? There's so much burst potential on the side of Aura Fire. If Matt is the win condition for Bigatron, Aura Fire has very, very simple answers.
They need a big moment now for the side of Bigatron Alpha. They need to be able to make Matt catch up, be able to use that Blazing Duet towards that backline, take away Kabuki, but that's so much easier said than done. And to answer your question here, you can see the items from the Beatrix.
Oh, wait a minute though. Matt gonna be caught. Blazing Duet preemptively here. Godiva misses out on the Breath of the Ocean, and the Rough Waves keep flickering out. That's gonna be Morendo popping in. The Cold Altar. Facehugger gonna be caught in there. Hai still able to dish out the damage as he jumps into that backline. Max dealing out the damage and soaking it in for his team to back away. A 5v5 ends with no one falling and both teams disengaging.
Still a 6,000 gold lead into the hands of Aura Fire, but even with that in mind, it doesn't seem like Aura Fire is able to close as fast as we expected. Now the Lord is already in the Land of Dawn, and we'll see who has the better engage as well as setup. Are they going to be using this to bait out Bigatron, take away those important heroes, or will Aura Fire be able to just take it, snatch it away from Bigatron Alpha?
I think the Cult Altar from Bigatron is just delaying the potential for Aura Fire to just take over the game, because they can just dive towards the back line, but when they strike back with crowd control of their own Cult Altar, it just makes everything a bit more random, and it's just less calculated the way Aura Fire wants it to be. So I think they have to try and play around that, as Fluffy here just zones as much as possible. But look at the damage! What?
Yeah, that's what you expect from a Beatrix in the late stage of the game. One thing I do want to point out, however, is BTR, they don't really have a very solid frontliner. He opted to go for the Radiant Armor, so he's very, very susceptible to the burst damage that Aura can give out, and this is exactly it. There you go, you can see it already. One basic from Kabuki, and Key's gone. He had, oh my god, that was so much damage. He was almost half HP, and one Renner shot was all it took to take him down.
Wow, man. And without their roamer, that is an easy Lord take for Aura Fire. And this is the issue. Aura Fire has both a lot of physical damage burst and a lot of magical damage burst. So the itemization game from Bigatron Alpha is so much more difficult.
I understand why Key went for the Radiant Armor instead of going for more physical defense. Because take a look at Aura Fire. All of their magic damage, like Facehugger, Godiva, and Hyde, those are the people you usually meet in the early stage of the game. But Kabuki has, oh my god, he's snowballed out of control. He has so much damage, and you need to respond with something. You need to have something, man. Defense, physical defense. I don't know what will help him though, Arashi. Brute Force doesn't really help. Anti-Chris?
He already has a Dreadnought armor.
Blade armor, sure, Blade armor can work, but like, man, you need to be able to take those shots.
Oof. Now, with the Lord in their backs, though, Aura can go for that Cult Altar play yet again as Hai goes in for a burst attempt.
Yeah, and the shards again already popped onto Moreno. Max trying to clear out the waves as Matt jumps in once again, using the DPS on his kit, on the Claude, to clear it out. Key already using... No, it was Sorizo actually who jumped in, and Key using the wild charge onto that back line, not finding anyone right now as Godiva is concealed. He's looking for a play. BTR still able to defend. Aura Fire still with an 8,000 gold lead.
Flicker wild charge, my name. So already a huge resource wasted by Key when he's the one that Bigatron Alpha is relying on to make these plays. But once again here, Hai goes in for the engage onto Key.
Oof, you can see that Key is a lot more tanky against Hai because of his itemization, but now the Cult Altar is popped to try and contest this tower.
Two Cult Altars popped, there you go. Rough Wave's gonna be used by Godiva, buying a little bit more time as Fluffy jumps in with Eye for an Eye, still able to buy some time.
Oh!
Kabuki threading the needle, finding the snipes onto Matt, not able to take him down just yet. Fluffy with the Electro Final Blow, able to clear out the waves. Matt jumps in with a Blazing Duet, he's able to buy so much, it deals so much with the Wind of Nature there as they go in for the damage. It's still High in the midst of it all, he's still able to conceal for a bit, he gets down, taken out by Moreno. Matt's trying to deal the damage to finish Fluffy off. Immortality still intact. Aura Fire not able to end the game.
It was very difficult because when they committed to that game, it was 4 ultimates versus 2. Bigatron Alpha had a lot more in their arsenal, whereas Aura Fire's was a little bit more limited. So maybe they overcommitted a little too hard onto that end when clearly it was a bit difficult as they were on the behind. But you can see here that Kabuki is going to be the highlighted player here in Season 10. And we can actually feel that impact happening, the damage output that was already very evident, especially even against someone like Key on a tank hero. That's going to be very imperative, especially now that the Lord has already spawned.
But right now, it's not going to come down to, I think the most important member isn't the gold laners. It's Moreno and it's Facehugger. Cult altars need to be on point. Key, oh my goodness, almost taken down. You see how much damage Facehugger and Godiva did? Nothing. Then Kabuki goes in with one basic attack and a shot, a sniper shot, and he's taken down that low.
Right. Now Key is forced to actually retreat back to the base, so Aura Fire has an opportunity here. This is exactly the kind of situations they excel in. Already though, Key is on the way back, and it's back to a stalemate, especially in that other side of the map, man. Fluffy, ooh, Fluffy, I was gonna say Fluffy and Sorizo just going at it, but Moreno just gets nuked by Kabuki.
That's actually going to force him to recall, so they do have a man advantage right now. But look at this, Sorizo is still trying to cut those lanes. They're trying to disperse away the pressure that Aura Fire has on those 3 lanes, and it's working. It's buying a lot of time.
Sorizo needs to be very careful though, because look at Amon, look at Beatrix, they're going on to him. The Endless Shards is available. Amon not just going on it yet though. He's rotating back to the mid lane, knowing that Fluffy has cut the waves. BTR, knowing that Aura have made some rotations onto that top side, they instantly start the Lord to stop Aura from going and punishing Sorizo. Now it's a battle of wits. It's a chess match here in game number 3. 20 minutes in. It's still both of the teams looking for better setup. Fluffy using the final blow, trying to find that Petrify pickoff, but it will not come through. Sorizo still cutting the waves in the mid lane. Look, he's so obnoxious.
Ooh, he's doing his best from what he's given, right? With what he's given right now, this is the best thing he can do, and it is still very useful. It's working out for Brigadier Alpha, but Aura Fire is slowly but surely taking the Lord away.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have to wait for a bit. We don't know what's happening.
Oh, no.
I have a weird feeling that once we get back into the game, we're just going to, there's gonna be a lot of fire. But we're gonna get into a pause, it seems. Ladies and gentlemen, we are encountering a technical issue. As you can see, reconnecting. Oh, that was perfect timing, honestly, because we need to dissect what's going on. There's so much macro plays being made by the teams to push the game this long. Even right now, they are actually the team with the better setup onto the Lord. And just as I say it, look at what they're able to do. I think Sorizo was able to bait out a few Aura members up top, and they were able to go in for the bottom side. Max now gonna be the target of Fluffy's operation as High jumps in to follow it up. Key's still able to zone away the members. Matt jumps out. Key jumping with the wall charge. Godiva finding Moreno, and just like that, that's what we mentioned. No call alter for BTR, and High gonna be able to dish out the damage onto Max and the Shard, stealing it all. Matt now caught in the breath of the ocean. That's gonna be canceling out the Blazing Duet, and Aura with one fight, they end the game 2-1.
Wow. Just like that. When you're up against a team like Aura, when the burst is what you have to be watching out for, you better watch out, man. That happened so quick. Moreno not able to use the Cult Ultra of his own, and Aura instantly step on the gas and run over Bigatron Alpha.
Man.
GG.
Man, I don't even know what to say. That was such a stalemate for so long in that late game. It got to the 20